it's kind of like one of those moments you kind of just step back and realize, like, dang, like, I have a one-of-one card. I have a card that's cool. Like, I have
Yep.
a dual auto with me and Fletch or whatever the case is. So I think just growing up and having that realization, it's just awesome.
Yeah.
It's just cool to see.
All right, what's going on, guys? We are back. Another episode of Cards and Content. Very, very cool guest today. One of the best basketball players in the entire country is coming on the podcast today. We will sit down with Purdue guard Braden Smith and talk about how he, as one of the best basketball players in the country, got into the sports card space. It's a fun one. We were fortunate enough to sit down with him in Indianapolis recently at our friends, with our friends over at Indie Card Exchange, who will be on the podcast very, very soon. But a very fun episode coming today, and a longer episode of Stockwatch here towards the end of the pod with our guy Gabe Card Stacks as we recap the college football season that was, talking about the IU Miami National Championship game. So big episode today. I want to start first things first. One thing today, the Dallas Card Show was insane. I'm trying to put it up there with trying to think back to some of the bigger Dallas card shows I've ever been to, because I would say it's the busiest one. There was one in particular, I remember when Sasha T bought the Charizard PSA 10. That I was there for that moment, and how many people were packed around for that. And I don't want to discredit what former Dallas card shows were like, because when Dallas Card Show was really coming up and really big in the early COVID days, when it was really one of the only shows going on, those early trade night days were crazy. That lobby was hopping. But man, this Dallas Card Show this time was different. January Dallas is always a busy one. Usually Q1 for card shows is pretty busy. I don't know if that's momentum coming off the holidays or if it's college football, the NFL's, playoff seasons, those seasons coming to an end, new products coming out, basketball season hitting the halfway point, getting close to baseball starting. I'm not really sure what it is. It's pretty busy, and Dallas was nonstop. It was almost hard to actually transact because it was too deep at most tables. We walked around. We stayed on site at that hotel, and just getting back to the room, getting in that front area where admission was. I know there's a couple videos we have just walking through there. You could barely get by. It was shoulder to shoulder, 10 people deep, 20 people deep, in ticket lines, in the Beckett line, in the autograph line. It was special. The Dallas Card Show team is an amazing team. We love going to that show. Kyle and the team out there are amazing. We genuinely one of my favorite card shows in the world. But this one felt different. Looking at the show, though, one thing I want to point out, I don't own a single card, not a box, not a card, not a pack, nothing in my personal collection of One Piece. But man, One Piece was on fire at the show. Seems like a more recent explosion, but would love to be able to sit down before too long with somebody who is an expert in the One Piece field. So if anybody has any recommendations on the space and maybe who we could sit down and talk with about where this recent explosion comes from, if you anticipate it will last. There's some crazy $100,000+ sales in some of these cards lately. There was a lot of demand for it there. It was really the talk of the show. There was a lot. Again, don't own any, no, none, zero, zip, zilch, nada. But would love to learn, would love to understand why and where the recent explosion comes from. So that's it's one of the things I take away looking back on this show this past weekend, because it was we were only there for 2 days, but it was 3 days, but it was crazy. It was crazy show. So excited. I think the next one's in March, but feeling pretty good about where the market is at this point with the where shows are right now. We have our Grove City Card Fest coming up here. By the time this one comes out, it'll be about 10 days away. February 1st, Sunday, February 1st, here in Grove City, Ohio. Our first show of the year. Have high expectations for it. We're going to 2 gyms. So usually again, Q1 is big for cards. So hopefully Grove City Card Fest can build on some of the momentum in the hobby right now, because if Dallas is any indication, there's a lot of momentum right now in the space. And then another shout out to me. Shout out to my Super Bowl picks. Shout out to the Bills and shout out to the Bears. Absolutely blew it. Can't believe they both lost. The Bills, Bills Broncos game had that. Josh Allen gets a moment, gets an opportunity. Just couldn't do it. I'm not saying I could do it, throwing to Brandon Cooks and Keon Coleman and that wide receiver core, like, just ain't it. It's not it. They're not very good. There's not a ton of weapons around them. I know James Cook led the NFL in rushing yards, so he's come on, but man, just some of those dudes Brandon Cook's like, whoa, what are we doing? Regardless, good game. Obviously, terrible news after the game. Bo Nix breaks or fractures his ankle. Jarrett Stidham time in the AFC title game. And then my Patriots. Shout out to my Patriots getting it done. I mean, who they, I forget who they played in the first round. It was Herbert, no offense. It's all like a tweet. It was like Herbert, no offensive line. Texans without Nico Collins. And the Broncos without Jarrett Stidham. So hopefully the Patriots are headed back to the Super Bowl. I saw a stat the other day. I think it's the last 11 years, 15 years, something. Patriots or Chiefs have been in the AFC title game. Crazy, crazy stat. It had been the Chiefs for so long. No playoffs this year, but Patriots back. Drake May leading them. And then my other half, rambling a little bit there. My other half of the Super Bowl pick, the Bears. I'm like, Bears, man, 21-3 down for the Packers. This team's got it. I knew Stafford was going to be trouble. He's got a Super Bowl. He's got that playoff experience. He's going to likely win MVP this year. Devontae Adams, Puka, that defense is legit. I'm like, you know what, though, Caleb, they're at home. It's freezing cold. You got a West Coast team coming to Chicago in January to play in that weather. It's freezing. I'm like, nah, they got it. They had a big win. It's Caleb time. And didn't get it done. DJ Moore, gave up on that route. Like, I was watching the game in overtime. Before they got to overtime, probably one of the top 3 throws I've ever seen in my entire life. Top 3 throws. Aaron Rodgers has made some pretty incredible ones over the years. That Cardinals game stands out. But 45-yard line, running away from a sack on like 4th and 8. Off your back foot, heave to the end zone. That's one of the best passes I've ever seen. It's a hard pass to make from the 45-yard line standing there at that kind of accuracy. In the cold, off your back foot in that situation, Caleb Williams is elite. I'm going to die on that hill. I'm ready for it. I'm willing to have that conversation. Get a chance in overtime. DJ Moore stops running. Throws a pick to, was it Cam Curl? The Rams get the ball back. Score. Game over. Field goal by was it a rookie kicker? Forget. There's somebody they picked up after week 9. I saw. The thicker kicker is what they call him. Harrison Mevis. So shout out to him, booting it in. I really thought the Bears were going to get it done. I thought this Bears team was a team of destiny. I was so sold they were going to win. We have a video coming out. So today's Wednesday. It either come out today or come out tomorrow. I think it's actually going to be tonight on our main YouTube page. I did a spending challenge in Dallas. I didn't post about it beforehand. I was betting on the fact that he was going to win, but I spent $15,000 buying Caleb Williams in Dallas. And I made this argument, and I'll talk about it in the video, but I make this argument that I think Caleb Williams is a great buy. I think the gap between him and May is pretty substantial. But I think he's got one of the best coaches in the league. I'm a big Ben Johnson guy. He's already won a playoff game. He's going into year 3. They have a lot of weapons. They have Swift, Monangai, Kmet, Loveland, DJ Moore, Adunze, Luther Burden. They got some guys. The defense is good. I just think there's going to be a lot of momentum and a lot of hype around that Bears team going into next season. And then the Nationals in Chicago, right? I think QBs are always hot at the National, and I think with the success Caleb Williams has had in a short period of time, and then going into the National in Chicago, I think Caleb stuff will be moving. So I spent a little bit there on him. Was expecting, was hoping for a win. Obviously, I thought that would kind of catapult him into a different category in the short term. Didn't work out, but man, I was a believer. Caleb Williams has turned me into a believer of his for sure. Again, still feeling pretty good about what I have just heading into, the offseason. So we'll likely continue to pick up, and if they continue to drop, maybe do a little cost average. But at this point, I'm excited for the Bears' future. But at this point, excited to see how this one, wraps up. Stafford, we talked about in the beginning, one of the 3 quarterbacks entering the playoffs that had a ring. It was him, Rodgers, and Hurts. He's still remaining. That Seahawks defense is special. 41 points at home. That's a whooping they put on the Niners. Again, the Niners were bound to be caught up by those injuries. But Darnold, JSN, Kenneth Walker, Charbonnet's out. They got some dogs on defense. Going into Seattle cannot be an easy place to play. That's a rivalry divisional game. That's a big game. Winner gets to go to the Super Bowl. We'll see. And then Patriots got to go 2 Mile High. It's an old Manning, Brady. Again, second half of Manning's career. Brady, Manning, Denver. Now should have been Bo Nix and Drake May. 224 quarterback. Instead, it's Drake May and Jarrett Stidham. But that Broncos defense, Pat Surtain, reigning defensive player of the year. You got Drake May, Travion, Diggs. Pat's got some guys on defense. It's going to be a fun one. Christian Gonzalez is a dog. We'll see. I think Drake May's got to take care of the ball. They got to protect him. Made some sloppy plays against Houston. If CJ Stroud didn't throw 4 picks and they had a fumble, that would probably been a different game. But excited to see who wins. Obviously, I think selfishly, I'm kind of hoping for like a Rams-Patriots rematch. Obviously, I want the Patriots to win, being a Pats guy. But maybe like a passing the torch type moment. Stafford, Puka, Devontae. I would imagine Stafford's almost done. Devontae's almost done. Potentially a go out on top type moment, or a Drake May. Patriots, all this success with Tom Brady. Tom Brady leaves, goes to Tampa and wins. Belichick kind of falls off. You hire Gerard Mayo. You lose a bunch of games. Now you got Mike Vrabel in there. You got Drake May. You're feeling really good. AFC title game for the first time in almost 10 years. Man, a lot of storylines for this. I'm hoping for Rams, Patriots. I think you're going to get some good games. I don't think this would be too ugly, even with no Stidham, or with Stidham, no Bo Nix. I still think it's going to be a competitive game. I don't think you're getting, ugly games here in championship weekend. So we'll see. Exciting times. Super Bowl, a couple weeks away. All right, let's. I want to save more time. I know the Braden Smith interview and the Stockwatch with our guy Gabe is a little bit longer, so want to spend some more time on those. But let's kick it over to our interview with one of the best basketball players in America, Purdue guard Braden Smith. Ladies and gentlemen, today's guest is the all-time assist leader in the Big Ten, the number 1 in the country men's basketball in assists per game. He's the best point guard in all of college basketball, and he collects cards. Ladies and gentlemen, a very special guest today. My friend, Purdue basketball guard and card collector, Braden Smith. Braden, thank you so much for coming on the pod.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. Obviously, just being here with you, I understand the level that comes with, and I appreciate you taking the time and having me on here, so thank you.
Well, that means a lot. This is something I've been looking forward to for quite some time. I think I first heard about you collecting cards through Andy, where we are here in Indy, so shout out to him. But obviously, I know a little bit about your journey into cards and some of the heat you've been picking up. But maybe for those that don't know who you are, I always like to start with that question. Who are you and how did we get right here?
Yeah, no, so obviously Braden Smith, Purdue basketball player. But I mean, I think just having a lot of connections and getting into the card world and that space, it's been super fun, and obviously something different for me because I haven't been into it when I was younger. I mean, obviously I've had cards but I didn't understand like, okay, well there's a value behind cards or there's other cards you got to chase or anything like that. But I've been put around a lot of people that understand it and don't take advantage or do anything bad, but just good normal people that love cards and love basketball at the same time. So I think I've been pretty lucky to be around a bunch of people.
Good. So you obviously you mentioned good people. We're here in Indy. We share the same affection and appreciation for Andy, who owns this shop. But I'm curious, was it going to Andy's shop that got you into it? Like, you're the best point guard in America, and now you're into basketball cards. Like, how did that happen? How did you get into the hobby?
Yeah, no. So I had a deal here at Andy's place, and it was something different. It was like a little a signing for people to come in, and obviously this is Indy. I live from about maybe 20-25 minutes from here.
Okay.
So my hometown, so not far at all. And then I also had some buddies that have been in the hobby and been doing it. So I think for me it was kind of easy, and I understood like once you kind of get into it, it's like kind of addicting. So I've kind of had that problem a little bit lately, but no, just being in this and being able to get relationships and have relationships with different people, and then obviously you meet a lot of different people when you're in it as well. So it's obviously a fun time and a great time to be a part of it.
Very cool. So you came to Andy's for the signing. So you got into the hobby after that?
Yes, like literally like after that, I think like I looked that night.
Okay.
Actually, so I had the deal. It was at like 6 p.m. or something. Shop closes at 7, whatever it is, and like he let me stay after. So like I asked him, I was like, hey, like, is it cool if I stay after and like just look around? And then ended up buying like 3 or 4 cards. I actually don't even remember what they were, but bought some cards from him, and I was like, okay, like I think this might be the start of it. So
and about how long ago was that?
I'd say probably 2 to 3 months, maybe.
Okay, wow.
I actually don't really know.
Okay.
I'm fairly new.
So
I think maybe 3 months max.
Okay. So you're new in it, but you did mention you had some buddies that have kind of collected. Were there guys on the team that did collect prior that like you had seen some cards from, or have you since you've been in it, has that helped other teammates get in? Like, are you the only guy in Purdue basketball that collects cards?
Yeah, so I would say I'm the main one.
Okay.
I've told a lot of my buddies. I have one other buddy. He's actually here as well, but I have one other teammate, Sam King. He's big into Pokemon, but haven't got there. I tried to, and I was like, yeah, not for me. I'm just going to stick to sports. But he's big into it, and a lot of the other guys, they like to give me crap for it. They're like, oh, like, I don't understand it. Like, why are you doing that? Like, it's a waste of money. This, and I'm like, oh, you just don't understand. Like obviously, if you don't have a love for it or understand the value or understand that kind of stuff, you're not gonna like it. You're not gonna get into it, and that's just how it was. So I think for me, I've got a couple guys starting to get into it and start to get back in it and do whatnot streams and kind of have fun that way. And we try to look for my cards or their cards and sign them and just have fun and mess around with it. So
I was gonna say you probably got some teammates that have signed. Obviously, you and Fletcher have played ball together for quite a while, and I know you have one of your cards, and we'll get into that in a second, but I would imagine you've probably had some teammates that have also signed as well. I hinted at it earlier, and I said obviously you play basketball. I'm assuming that's what you mostly collect is basketball. Am I right?
Yes. No, mostly basketball. I mean, I got a couple football here and there of just guys that I like. I think I got a couple soccer too. Got a couple Messi. So I feel like that's pretty fair. But other than that, I'd say it's mostly basketball.
All right. So sounds like Messi, and I think when we were talking, it was about Curry, Jokic. Do you lean more like upcoming guys, or is the Messi, Jokic, Curry a trend where you collect the GOATs? Like, how is in the 100 days you've been collecting cards, like what have you been putting together in your collection?
Definitely the GOATs. Steph Curry's my favorite all time, so I got a lot of his, and I try to get as much as I can of him because one, I'm just a huge fan, and two, it's reasonable because I feel like over time, as he becomes one of the greatest players ever, that's going to be an investment for me. And obviously a huge fan and grew up watching him, so that's one of the things. Two, obviously teammates. So I was teammates with Zach Edey. So I got a bunch of his stuff and trying to get a bunch of his stuff, and Jaden Ivey. played at Purdue. Carson Edwards, some of those Purdue guys.
Yep.
So I think for me, it's just people that I've interacted with and had a relationship with, and then also just people that I enjoy watching or I've been a fan of my whole life. And obviously got Jordan, got some LeBron, got Curry, obviously. So, so just a big fan of the GOATs for sure, but definitely got some others.
Yeah, man, you start naming some of the Purdue guys. I mean, just in the last 10 years alone, I mean, put out some big names. Obviously, I remember watching Carson Edwards. I think it was Elite Eight, Final Four. I mean, dude could stroke from three.
Yep.
And then obviously Edey, was he two-time Naismith Player of the Year?
Two-time,
back-to-back Naismith Player of the Year. So you mentioned a lot of great Purdue basketball players. You're in that category as well. Do you collect your own cards?
Yeah, I actually have. I got a couple of my one-on-ones I've been kind of chasing after, and obviously, like I've said, I've been fortunate to be put around a lot of great people.
Yep.
that kind of have my back and understand, like, hey, like, if you were to have a one-on-one, I feel like it should be in your hands, and obviously made deals with them and was able to connect with them. So I appreciate being around those type of people, and obviously been put in a really good spot. But
for sure.
But yeah, no, I think it's also fun. I mean, it's just something you grow up kind of like thinking about, like, okay, well, you buy Steph Curry's card, for example, but now your cards are being made. So I think it's kind of like one of those moments you kind of just step back and realize, like, dang, like, I have a one-on-one card. I have a card that's cool. Like, I have a dual auto with me and Fletch or whatever the case is. So I think just growing up and having that realization, it's just awesome.
Yeah.
It's just cool to see.
And you mentioned the duel with you and Fletcher. I know Topps put that out. I think that was when you guys broke like the record for like consecutive starts together.
Yep.
Now, that's obviously a sticker, but you do have some on-card stuff. Has collecting cards changed the way you approach signing autographs or handle the cards when they come in? Like, has being a card collector changed that for you?
Oh, 100%. And it's actually like crazy, like the small details that I didn't pay attention to, like my early years signing for Topps or doing signings for whatever, like I wouldn't even pay attention to it. Like some would be off the sticker and then some would be bad, and I'm like, okay, well that devalues the card. Like it just ruins it. And so like now I try to take some time to like actually be like, okay, like this one matters, this one matters, this one matters. And same thing with cards. Like if cards come in, whatever it is, I'm like, oh, like that's bent. Gotta make sure it's good. Like just make sure that it's all right. But yeah, no, it's definitely ever since I've got into it this past 3 months, I've been like, oh, like superstitious about certain cards and certain ways I sign stuff.
Yep, that's awesome. Now, as we sit here today, obviously you're still new to it, but you've built a nice collection in a short period of time. If you sit here right now and you look ahead, what's one card you would look out and say, this is one card I really want to add to the collection?
I mean, I think that Mickey Mantle, obviously the one that everybody's trying to get.
Yep.
I think just one because of just like understanding like what that card is and like just how like just the magnitude it holds. I think that would just be one awesome one to hold. And then anything Curry, I feel like for me, like that's just how I am. Like I already got some of his rookie cards, got a couple of them, but I think for me, like that's what means more to me is someone that like I grew up watching, like was inspired by, and kind of try to model myself after him. I mean, obviously, like maybe not shooting as good as he is, but I try to be as much of like that and just who he is as a person as well. Just being humble guy that loves basketball and is good to people. So that's what I try to really model myself after. So I would say he'd be one of the main ones, or that Mickey Mantle card.
Yeah. All right. I love it. I love the variety there. A couple of obviously Steph, what he meant to the game of basketball. I love the idea of like Steph's cards long term. That's one thing we talk about is, who from this period, goes down as, the GOATs and what stuff maintains value. And obviously I think LeBron is lumped into that conversation, just being up there with Jordan. But I think Curry's stuff long term, just what he did to the game of basketball and his popularity. He's not a very polar guy. I feel like LeBron's a real polar guy where, Steph Curry is pretty widely, liked across like I don't know a lot of people that don't like Steph Curry, and obviously I feel like it's a lot easier for people to envision themselves being Steph Curry on a basketball court than
100%.
LeBron James. So I think I think Steph's stuff long term is a great play, and it's also cool for you just again modeling, at least trying to model your game after that. I think that's cool. But again, 52 Topps Mantle is iconic. I know we talked a little bit about that card before this and what that card means, the first year of Topps, and the story behind that. And I feel the same way about that card. So yeah, it's cool. I look forward to seeing one day if you put that together.
100%.
Now I think you were Fanatics Fest last year, right? So you go to Fanatics Fest, but just based on the timeline, I'm assuming not into cards at that time.
Correct.
Right.
Yes.
So you go to Fanatics Fest. You're not a card collector at the time. Looking back on that, what was that moment like?
Frustrating, definitely. I'd say that's probably one of the biggest, and I probably have some other word choices that shouldn't be said. But yeah, no. Definitely looking back, and I was there, and I was obviously really fortunate to be there and be a part of a good group. So I think for me, and understanding kind of the meaning of like the cards that are there and like all the stuff that you could get into, kind of leaves a little dent in the soul there. But I think just being there and seeing all that, and then obviously I missed it because I just started 3 months ago, and I think that's what, in June or July?
Yeah, this year, July.
Yep. So July. So I was there, and then I actually ended up going back again later in July for my birthday, and I tried to like look at card shops then, trying to get into it, understanding that. But yeah, no, definitely missed it. A little frustrated with that, but it was obviously a great time, and looking forward to try to go to these next ones coming up.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask you. Is like, are there other shows you've been to, or obviously you're in the season now, so a little bit harder. But are there shows that you look out at and say, like, if you haven't been to them, want to go to them?
I would say definitely Fanatics Fest again.
Sure.
That's the one I have been to, and I've actually never been to a show.
Yep.
Obviously in West Lafayette, Indiana, it's kind of hard to try to find a show that's good enough around. That's obviously no diss to any of the ones that are around. But But for me, I just feel like if I want to go to one like the National or something like that, something big where there's a lot of people, it's a big event, I think that's something I just want to be a part of and just go to, because being at Fanatics Fest and seeing all the people that are there, seeing the excitement around it, just seeing the different variety of cards that are there, I think that's special. And I think, again, like just the people that I enjoy collecting, like a Steph Curry, like those guys, like just being able to see the variety of those guys and different cards that maybe I've never seen before.
100%. Yeah, this one will be a little interesting. Obviously, Fanatics Fest has been there 2 years now, and it's gotten bigger every time, and they do a great job with it. This one will be a little, I would imagine, a whole different world. It's also the same time the World Cup is going on, the final in New York at the same time. So I think it's going to be an interesting one. But this will be my pitch. Obviously, we can talk offline, but this will be my pitch to get you to Shipshewana, Indiana. We have a show up there. It's 3 times a year. Obviously, the next one is in early March, where hopefully you'll be, making a deep run in the Big Ten title or, March Madness. But it's a fun one. How far are you guys from Northern Indiana?
Say a couple hours.
Yep,
a couple hours.
Maybe one day. Maybe Andy was the first one in the card space for a Braden Smith NIL deal. Yep. Maybe the second one, we'll get a couple of the guys after graduation.
Do it for sure.
We'll have you in Memorial Day. Obviously, I want to be respectful of your time, so don't want to steal any more of it. But one question I like to end these with is, if you were starting over today, what would be one piece of advice you would give yourself?
Yeah, I mean, obviously. For the card world and the hobby, I would say, obviously I'm new to it.
Yep.
But what I've heard is to one, don't buy boxes.
Oh, okay.
Don't do it, especially Pokemon.
Not a gambler.
Ones.
Not a gambler.
No. Oh, I am. I'd say I am a little bit. I like to. People like to hold boxes because the value goes up over time. I'm like, well, if I'm gonna buy a box, I'm gonna open it right then and there because that's why I bought the box.
Yep.
That's just how I think. But I think that would be my biggest one for the card world, and obviously just collect who you enjoy and who you like. And I feel like that's just what I've heard from people that do collect, like Andy and yourself. So that's just one of the things I would say. And then I would just say for the real world and basketball, is just enjoy it. I say it to everybody because it truly does go by fast, and there's a lot of small memories and moments that just go by like this. And I remember my first day walking on campus with moving in and doing all that stuff, and then here I am, middle of my senior year. So I would say just enjoy it and try to have as much fun as you can.
Amazing advice. I don't know, I mean, the boxes in moderation can be a lot of fun. I don't know if you've dove into some of the cases that you're in, Sapphire, maybe Bowman's Best, chasing your cards. It can be a lot of fun. Last thing, if people want to find you, where can they find you?
Yeah, no, I mean, my Instagram is SM1THB. Smith, but instead of the I, it's a 1, and then Braden Smith. So
amazing. Well, best of luck the rest of the year, and hopefully we'll have you on again here post national title run, and maybe at a show or back at Andy Shop. So thank you again for coming on.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
That's all I got for now, guys. All right, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Stockwatch. The man, the myth, the legend joins us today. Gabe Card Stacks is here, and we're going to talk about the Indiana Hoosiers winning a national title. I never thought, Gabe, I don't know if you agree, I don't think I ever anticipated I would see an Indiana Hoosiers national championship undefeated season in my lifetime. That was never something 5 years ago I anticipated. But man, NIL is here. It's here to stay, and the Indiana Hoosiers are your 2025-26 national champs in college football.
Yeah, no, it was a great game. Going into
great
it,
game.
I saw both sides. Miami was playing their best ball defensively. They're a monster. But Indiana is just, everyone loves them. They're so, they're the most likable team. They've got, Signetti, Fernando Mendoza, who doesn't like him. They've got no one who's like getting the NIL payday. Like they're just all just blue collar, hardworking, well coached, just everything you want from a team. So yeah, it was a great game. I mean, even when it was 10-0, like it was still like, hey, this is still a 2-possession game. And then Miami and they just trade blow for blow. And unfortunately for Miami, those special teams cost them the game. The block punts, that was just sad. You got 3 personal protectors back there, and then I'm not a huge fan of this rugby punt stuff. And then the missed kick, that's the game right there. But yeah, it was a great game, just back and forth, and I'm very happy for Indiana. Just one of those things, like you said, that was the losingest program a year ago, and now they're no longer the losingest after just these 2 seasons. So yeah, it was a good game. I loved it. I love just, both sides to it. Now I have a stat for you, Ryan. 2 stats.
Okay, I'm ready.
Actually.
I love a good stat. Love a good couple stats.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Here's a good stat. I could save it for later, but Carson Beck, he has lost 6 games in his college football career. 4 of those losses, his last play was an interception on a go-ahead drive.
That's not a good stat. That's not one you love if you're in the Carson Beck camp.
Yeah, it's remarkable that he's played a lot of college football, only lost 6 games, and then 4 of them is just.
Do you know which games they are? Brian was shout out to AI. We got them real quick. You know what they are?
No, I don't.
Well, one was last night
Sure.
versus SMU. Turnover led to in overtime led to a walk-off loss. Versus Louisville, interception on the final snap of the game. All this year.
Yeah.
And then the 2023 SEC Championship versus Alabama, a late interception kept Georgia out of the playoff.
Yeah, that's sad. And, it was kind of leading up to that because you're like, man, like, okay, Mario Cristobal, he hasn't laid a stinky since that SMU loss or whoever it was. Carson Beck, it was all Mark Fletcher this offseason. So it's like, just this is Carson Beck's drive like it was for Ole Miss, I guess. He did pull that off. But yeah, it was kind of leading that way, I feel, where it's like, man, that's a very Carson Beck thing to do. That was before the stat even came up, but I'm like, yeah, this is how it might go down. And yeah, it was just a great game. I don't know how you can watch that game and be like, man, this college football stuff,
dude.
I'd rather watch the NFL.
I don't know, 100%. Like the NFL playoffs have been really, really good. I've really enjoyed them. The Chicago Bears Rams game, I picked the Bears to win the Super Bowl. Obviously, that's not going to come true. But that game was incredible. The Bears-Packers game was really, really good. Bills-Jaguars was good. Patriots-Texans game was interesting. It was sloppy, but it was a good game. I mean, the Niners-Seahawks game was not. But, like, pro football has been good. You just can't watch that national championship. Like, it just means so much more in college football. Like, I am a Buckeye through and through, and, I know we've talked about it over the last 4 or 5 episodes. Mendoza's a cornball. He's a corny dude. But man, what a good, like, you don't watch, like, I'm not the biggest Pavia guy. I don't watch Fernando Mendoza and be like, that guy he just seems like an egotistical prick. Like, that's not what Mendoza looks like. I mean, like, just, the relationship with his mom obviously is a big one. Like, he just, his strong faith, his relationship with his coach, like, it just, I mean, again, like, you got to give a lot of credit. I saw this on Twitter. I mean, Cignetti came in his opening press conference in Indiana and said, "I win, Google me." And they went 16-0-1. I mean, that's as cold as it gets, man. That's a bad man. Like, he said, "I win, Google me," and in 2 years took Indiana. Like, this isn't like Penn State. This isn't Oregon. This isn't like this is Indiana. This is Indiana. I think Ohio State had won like 38 times against Indiana. Like, this team was horrible. They went undefeated. This is a basketball school. They just ran college football. This is incredible. Incredible story. Obviously, it's not incredible. I want to win the national title every year. Understanding that's not going to happen, dude, what an awesome story. Awesome game. Miami, like, I know we were borderline, like, if they should get in, if they shouldn't get in. I was like, dude, give us Miami or A&M. I don't want Notre Dame. Notre Dame's the real deal, and I still think Notre Dame's a great team. That Miami team, bro, Malachi Toney is a dog. A dog. He is incredibly fast. Mark Fletcher reminds me of, like, I don't want to say a poor man's Derrick Henry, but, like, he's a big boy, man. He's a big boy. Ruben Bain is a lot. I mean, has to be a lock for the top 5. That guy's unguardable. Unguardable. I mean, he did it to IU. He did it against Ohio State. Dude's incredible. Like that, what is it? Frederic, the corner, 29. Yep. I think he's one of the oldest corners in college football. Dog. What is it? Francis? Is it Maui Noah?
Maui Noah. Yep.
Maui Noah, like, dog. Like, I mean, they're good. Like, and again, like, I think Carson Beck, although we threw the interception, like you said, it's easy. It's always easy to look at one play, right? Like, it's easy to be like, oh, Carson Beck doesn't throw that interception. Well, if they kick a field goal, if they don't have a block punt, if Malachi Toney doesn't field the ball on his own 3-yard line, like, there's a lot of things that go into it. Like, it's not just one play. Obviously, we'll look at those, just like we'll look at the Mendoza run on 4th and 5. Like, that'll be something we remember forever. Like, for sure. We'll talk about that Fernando Mendoza run. Like, he should have been stopped 3 yards short. Then he gets 5 yards and it's like, oh, he's going to get hit. Stays up, dives in, takes 2 more. I mean, dude, if there's not a trading card with that photo on it, I'll be disappointed. There has to be one. I mean, what a great game. Like, it was just the fact that it came down to the end too, because we were sitting here working, and Cignetti had gone for it. You know, 4th down, goes for it. 4th down, goes for it. For the 4th and 5 in the red zone, goes for it. Doesn't kick the field goal then. Gets it, scores a touchdown, boom. And then it was like Toney, I think. So one of them gone. Like, you know, a couple plays later, like you said, blow for blow. And then they get the ball back and they get down in the red zone. I think it was 4th and 5 again, and they kick it. The minute and 51 left, minute 47 left, no timeouts for Miami. I'm like, that's not as big of a deal in college football as it is in the pros, because the clock stops when you get a first down. I'm like, I loved Cignetti's game plan. Like, if this is who you are, be who you are, right? If we go for it on 4th down on the 40, he went for it at midfield. Right, that Charlie Becker catch falling out of bounds Charlie Becker had 2 huge catches, like guys falling out of bounds. I'm like, what an incredible catch! And then you get to the 10, you go for it, 4th and 5, he scores. Love it. Then you get down and like you kick it to go up 6. I'm like, dude, they're gonna lose. They're gonna lose by 1. They're gonna lose. Indiana's gonna lose. 1-point ball game. Toney, Fletcher, here it comes. I'm like, they're going to lose. Minute 50 is a lot of time in college football to go, 75 yards. I'm like, they're going to do it. Lose by 1 point. Sure enough, picked him off. And then I sent you the stat, the tweet I saw, that the gentleman that picked off Carson Beck's interception on the last play of the game, or, last Miami possession of the game, was the nephew of the referee who called the pass interference against Miami in the Totitas Fiesta Bowl when Ohio State beat Miami, 22 years ago or 23 years ago. Was the grandson of that kid, or the nephew of that kid. Absolutely incredible. Love sports. Love college football. Greatest sport on earth. See ya in August.
Yeah. No, you put it perfectly. I was very shocked. I was talking to my wife, and I'm like, I kind of like going for it there. Just like they got to drive. Yep. a lot of times I'd put the game on a college kicker knowing you got to get it to the 35-yard line, and it's just a little bit more panic mode to try to get a college kicker going. So I was
and one first down at that point ends the game.
Yeah.
There's a minute and 50 left. Fourth down,
Yeah.
4th and 5.
Which,
you get the first down, game's over.
Which also, there was that false start, I think, by the right guard, which blew it because it was
on
second and one.
Second and one.
Man.
You go to second six, Carter Smith. I mean, the guy's a Walter Camp All-American. And I'm like, I told Isaac, I'm like, that's going to cost him. That's going to cost him. And then they ran the ball. And I was surprised he ran it on third down. I'm like, they only had one timeout left. It's 3rd and 5. And they run it, don't get any yards. And I'm like, I get it. You get the last timeout. But I'm like, it's 4th and 5 inside the red zone. I'm like, let's kick this. Or let's go for it. It's minute 40. It was minute 50 left. No timeouts. You get it. It's over. Ball game. You have a national championship. You're going to put it in the hands of your defense? I'd rather control the ball. I don't know. They got to go 85 yards, no timeouts. If you don't get it, they got to score to win or kick a field goal to tie. I'm like, man. But that's why Signetti is who he is.
Yeah. Yeah. So just a great game. Charlie Becker has not dropped the ball, dropped a pass the entire season. That is great. And he's coming up with some crazy catches, on Ohio State, on Miami this week. He's come up huge in the last couple weeks of the season. So that's the guy who is making money.
I know you said college football is great, man. It's just so cool that this lasted a while. My first playoff games were before Christmas, right? We're January 20th. You got a lot of time for college football. That's what makes it, dude. It's not just a couple bowl games and then a national title game during the pre-CFP days. I mean, even before you got in the Final Four, right? The year Ohio State won in 2014. Even before that, that was just one game, and you got a couple New Year's Eve, New Year's 6 bowl games, and then you got a national title that Monday. Nah, bro, this is electric. And you got now again. Don't love the portal timeline and how that works. Obviously that sucks. But man, watch college football. What a time to be alive, man. The Indiana Hoosiers are national champs. We're picking Clemson and Texas and Ohio State and Georgia and Notre Dame and Alabama and Kirk Signetti said, "Google me. Here's 16-0 undefeated." Crazy. What is this? We live long enough to see this full blown insanity.
Yeah, I mean everything. I feel like everything in college football at the end of the season just worked out. Miami gets in. There was all the drama. The committee putting Notre Dame, yada yada, doing the flip. We got it right there. With the Heisman, I was like, Mendoza. I'm like, here's Diego Pavia. He's led Vanderbilt to this the best season. I get it, Indiana as well, but I'm like, hey, give love to Curtis Rourke last year. Then he has his little antics the day after. I'm like, all right, fine. I'm kind of glad Mendoza won after all. And then he caps off a 16-0 season. It's just we got everything that we needed. Everything worked out the way it should be.
Very true. Very true. Yeah, it was a great time. Ready for next year. Ready to talk preseason. Ready to talk, all of that. But before we do, let's get into a little Stockwatch. Who do we have on Stock Up at this point?
Okay, Stock Up. Well, I guess I'll kind of go off of everything because I'm sure he had some insane. I was in some chats yesterday, just color. Non-auto stuff of Fernando Mendoza right now is several $100s right now, and there were many intelligent people.
Bananas.
Yeah. So congrats to anyone who was running auctions, timing it up with the end of the game. There are probably some disgusting sales right now.
Sorry, there's a little bit of a delay. I actually had the opportunity. Shame on me. Hand up. It did make a lot of sense. I thought I offered pretty strong on it. I had an opportunity to buy Mendoza Sapphire Black Auto in Dallas, on Friday or Saturday, I think. I had an opportunity to buy a Mendoza Sapphire Black Auto. Last raw sale was $1,700. BGS 9510. This is before the game, obviously. BGS 9510 last raw sale was $1,700. wanted $3,000, offered 2.6, said he could come down to 2.8, and I was like, I can't get there. Like, BGS 9.5, I'd have to sell for like $3,000 to break even. I'm like, that's almost double. I went back and forth on it. I was like, I just 2,600. He's like, we just can't go less than 28, and I was like, I gave you 26. I wanted it. I bought a couple Mendoza cards, and he's like, oh, ultimately we gotta stay, and we didn't get the deal done. But now looking back on it, I regret that decision immensely. And sometimes you walk away and you're like, okay, it works out, and sometimes it doesn't always get the deal done. But looking at it now, I'm like, I would say some choice words. This is a kid-friendly station, so I'll keep my comments to myself on what my insides are, what I'm saying inside my head right now. But man, it's a real shame because his stuff is on fire, banana land, like all-time college football, like Bowman U type sales. Yeah, it's bananas. Sapphire Red yesterday did $6,100 at bids at auction. Yeah, crazy.
Base Sapphires, just a base Sapphire was selling for $60.
Yeah, base.
That's a third of the box, just a base card.
That's a real shame.
So, yeah, man, just crazy. And but I mean, we've said it for the past like 3-4 weeks. It's just been the perfect storm. Heisman, undefeated season. They win the Big Ten championship. Okay, now you got the playoffs. Now they cap it off. Now he's projected number one.
But honestly, like looking at the history of what guys have sold for doing less, Mendoza numbers now shouldn't surprise anybody, right? They never had really like gone insane. The guy won the Big Ten. He won the Heisman Trophy. He beat Alabama. He beat Oregon. He's beaten Ohio State. And he just beat Miami, right? At some point, it was like, okay, like I think Sapphire were doing 20, 25, $30. Like they got pretty low at one point. Now his stuff's high, but it's like when you compare it to what like Carson Beck stuff has sold for at one point, or what Cam Ward, or what Caleb Williams, or Drake May, or Travis Hunter, like it's not really that crazy. Like this is just like the market finally being like, okay, maybe this guy is actually him. And he was. If you followed the college football market for a couple years like we have, I don't think this is a huge surprise. I just think it's the market finally being like, okay, maybe this guy is actually the real deal.
Sure. I would say, imagine if he was like a sophomore though, and then the preseason hype heading into his junior season. That would probably be where you'd get like just the craziness. Like, okay, this is insane, because then you've got the whole 8 months of
is he going to do it again?
Yeah. So yeah, pretty crazy. Just insane. I had Fernando Mendoza 1955 base card, and that's all I have. So I was not in the Mendoza market.
Yeah, we'll have a video coming out soon. I bought a couple cards of a couple guys this weekend. Mendoza was one of them. I bought a few of his better cards. I bought a True Gold auto to 50, Bowman Chrome first. And I bought a orange best dual patch auto. I unfortunately will have a video coming out where I spent $15,000 buying Caleb Williams cards, and I talked about why, and obviously I've told you why. But I wish now, I mean, I still think Caleb's a good buy. It's a whole nother topic for another day. But man, seeing as much money as I could have put into Fernando Mendoza and how much you would have made in a 48-hour period, I look back and be like, man, that would have been nice. That sure would have been nice to have a big old stack of his cards right now.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's a tough one.
All right. Shall we move to number 2?
We should, yeah.
Number 2. And he's on the losing side of this game, which I don't know if we've ever had someone who, would still stock up. But I'm going Mark Fletcher here. Here's another stat for you. Mark Fletcher, entering the playoffs, had 685 yards. That's through 12 games. Nothing crazy. Over the last 4 games, 507 yards. He has absolutely carried them through the playoffs. He's almost doubled his yardage this entire run. And he's already said he's coming back next year. I guess that could change because I think the draft declaration window is the similar timeline with the port. I don't know. We might have to check on that, Ryan. But he said he's coming back. His base autos are doing $20. I forgot I had one. I had to go check in the middle of the game. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure I have one unlisted, sold instantly. Not
Love
like
a good mid-game find.
Sales. Yeah. Nothing spectacular, I think, in terms of sales still for a guy who his autos were probably, I think I won one at auctions for like $3 in November, maybe.
$3 for Mark Fletcher auto now.
Yeah.
That's crazy work.
Yeah. And I remember buying a couple at like $8. And I'm like, oh, this seems a little high. So yeah, but it's just a nice, there was a lot of volume. A lot of people were buying Mark Fletcher. He was dominating 112 yards, 2 touchdowns.
I don't know if it was one you and I talked about when I ripped it or if I did it on a video, but I had a Mark Fletcher. He was one of my low numbered patch autos from Best. I had it to 10 with an inscription. I forget what the inscription says. I'll look and I'll find it, but I had an inscription patch auto of his to 10, black RPA and a gold to 50. So it's funny, I actually kept him on my desk because I was like, if they win, I was going to post him. Probably should still post him anyways, but I ended up with like 4 Miami vertical game used patch autos, Frederic, Maui Noah, and then 2 Mark Fletchers. So I actually have 4 Miami game used patch autos from Bowman's Best. Love the addition to that this year, but yeah, his his stuff's hot right now. I mean, Sapphire base auto $40, green auto to 99 from Chrome. $83 for that. A gold $60. So somebody either overpaid on the green or got a deal on the gold. Refractor to 299, $30. Like, yeah, I mean, you got to imagine at this point he's got to be top 5 in America next year.
Yeah, next year's a pretty heavy running back class because you'd get like Ahmad Hardy, LJ Martin, Kwan Lacey, Mark Fletcher's got to be up there.
Lacey's crazy. That dude's a dog.
So next year's going to be a very solid running back class. So yeah, it will be fun. I mean, yeah, just insane run, 500 yards over 4 games when it mattered most. He averaged 50 yards a game every single game.
Yeah, I mean,
in the regular season. I
know some people were talking about it online because everyone's like, yeah, he did this, and everybody else is like, well, Zeke did this in a shorter period of time. But that's what it reminds me of. He's, I talk about it before, but Zeke went on that run against Michigan, Wisconsin, Nick Saban and that insane Alabama team, and then Oregon. He ran for like 200 yards in 3 straight games. I think at the time it still might be there, but I think at the time it was, again, I don't know when it ended, if it has, but it was the most rushing yards Nick Saban had ever given up to one player in a game when Zeke did it. And like Zeke did, all that, and like I think he had gotten similar numbers to Fletcher. They were talking about it on Twitter, and Zeke had done it in 2 games. So yeah, it's a pretty crazy run. And again, like you said, that's the most important piece when they needed it most, and that's what he did.
Yeah. So yeah, good for Mark Fletcher. I'm curious to see if that market sustains and what that looks like going into next season. They need a quarterback. Miami does. They've got no answers, but that leads us to number 3 on Stockwatch, Stock Up. Perhaps Darian Mensah is the answer. Now this is
well, he's got a lawsuit now.
Yeah, if you hate everything about college football, and this is perhaps why you don't like it when a school is suing its own player. But Darian Mensah,
second time this offseason.
Yes, yeah. Just mere hours before the portal closes for him, they're like, hey, they expect him to enter the portal, and there's all this legal battle. Duke retains all his. They can cancel out his NIL or whatever. They own all his NIL, whatever the case. Miami would have to buy out his contract. But it's all this, tampering, whatever. But, it seems like they're trying to get him to go to Miami. Duke's not going to go down without a fight, which to me is kind of, Ryan, I don't know, that's kind of a crazy move. Like, if the guy doesn't want to be there, like, you really want to, like, you're going to pay him all this money?
Yeah. That's insane. Like, he doesn't want to be there. Like, I'm all for, if you made an agreement and you said you're going to be here and there's some kind of contract, you owe that money back. Like, you have to pay that. So whether Miami gives you that money or you pay it back, whatever, but like telling like, no, bro, you got to come play for us. Like, that guy's got to lead your team. Like,
yeah,
he's willing to leave for more money, and you're like, hey, come lead our football program. That's like, what are we?
Yeah,
I guess it makes no sense. I have no idea. I would tell that dude to pound sand. See you later, and we're gonna take you to court for every dollar we've given you. Let's do that. Makes no sense. Confuses me.
The bad thing about it is though, like just with all of this nonsense is like that leaves like Duke's like, hey, we signed you, and now it's like 3 hours before the portal closes. Now we don't have a quarterback.
Yeah, that's a real D-bag move for sure. Excuse my language, but 3 hours before the portal closes, just be like, nah, bro, sorry, I'm out. That's crazy work.
Yeah, so that stinks for Duke, but yeah, so we'll see. His autos have kind of jumped up. I've got a ton of offers. His autos were already kind of up there. It's like $30 for like a base auto. But yeah, I feel like I was getting some offers. Like his higher end stuff definitely has a solid floor. Like I picked up a couple of blues and they're like 100 plus right now. I was probably buying them for like 70 or 80 or so, which was probably fairly strong, but they're up there. So I've been getting offers on them. People are interested. If he goes to Miami, he gets all the spotlight. So, that would be their third transfer quarterback in a row. Cam Ward goes number 1. Carson Beck takes him to the championship game. Now you bring in Darian Mensah. So it's interesting.
Darian Mensah, looking at these sales on Card Ladder, it's so interesting. I think this is why I think there's so much opportunity right now in college football cards is like you look at some of these and it's like a blue will sell for 60 and a gold auto will sell for 55, and you're like, well, that doesn't really make any sense. And I think college football is one of those things, one of those markets where it's really imperfect and there's a lot of opportunity if you know who to buy and like what to buy, because comps will say one thing, and I'm giving myself really this own advice because I passed on a guy I thought was going to win the national title, black auto to 10, so I should probably be taking some of my own advice here. But you see some of these cards sell and it's like, well, that should sell for more than that. Like, how did that not work? Like the green Mark Fletcher versus the gold is a great example. And I think that's when, these guys have their moments and they get their name mentioned or they transfer or they're in a national title game and run for 125 yards. These opportunities arise where it's like the last comp doesn't matter. It's just sometimes about having it available. And yeah, Mensah's stuff clearly moves. I would imagine a blue auto out of 150 doing $37 is probably in the top 10% of the entire product. I would imagine that's top 10% of sellers. Like, think of all of the signers in 25 best. Blue auto, $42 shipped. How many guys sell for above that? Sellers?
Yeah, not a lot.
Sellers, Mendoza, Underwood.
Mateer.
You think Mateer sells for more than $42 shipped for a blue?
On a good day, yeah, probably. I hope maybe.
Hold on, Brian's got blue autos up. Brian's got blue autos up. Brian, scroll up a little bit. All right. Is that Isaac Brown? Isaac Brown, $13. $12 for Bryant Westco. Brian, you can keep scrolling. Baron Morton, $15. Rocco Becht, $14. All right, pause. Who's that? Another Darian Mensah did $20, so sick. Eli Holstein, your boy, did $10. Underwood did $75. Lee Beebe Jr., $3. Yeah, there's just not. It's a lot of fives. 15. Who's that right there? Taylor.
Brendan Sorsby.
Sorsby. I gotta tell you about this Sorsby. I'll send you this picture. I was bidding on one of his cards the other night, just browsing eBay, and
was it the gold patch?
Dude, I threw a crazy bid on there. Couldn't believe I didn't win. I threw a crazy bid on it. I wanted it really bad. It's disgusting. And lost. I was distraught. Did you bid on it?
I thought my $64 would get a solid bite.
I was almost $100 higher and I lost it. I'm like, this card will sell for a ton. Yeah. Get rid of the S. Just get rid of Bowman's. Just do best. See, it's coming up there now. Yeah, now do 150. Yeah, green Sorsby did 99, just did $25. Last Sorsby did $28, $20, 31. So they're probably comparable. So yeah, it's probably a top 10. It's probably a top 10 or 12 guy in the entire product. So yeah, Mensah stuff's definitely. Who would you rather have an auto of next year? Darian Mensah blue, best auto, or Sorsby blue, best auto?
Mensah.
Wow, that is crazy.
But do you
want to know? Is it because of the transfer?
There's a few things. One, Brendan Sorsby has 2 years of product now, so I like that Mensah is just in this year's set. So that plays a big role into it. I like the color match. And then, I think just the hype going to Miami is bigger than Sorsby to Tech.
I think Mensa's a bigger national news. I think Sorsby, that news is really big in like West Texas. Like, I feel like that's going to be pretty big down there because I think Tech feels pretty good about who they have next year. I know was it Trey White?
Yes.
Yeah,
Value Box alumni.
Value Box alumni. Pulled him in a video last night. Shout out you for that. Man. You're probably right. You're probably right for I like both of those reasons. I do think Sorsby will be. I think Sorsby has the chance to go mainstream. I don't think he's getting a lot of the love at Cincinnati. I think when he goes to Texas Tech and is playing on the big stage, and that team is preseason top 10, top 12, he'll have some buzz. So I would probably tell you that's probably fair. I'd probably tell you the upside on Mensa is higher, but I feel like Sorsby's a safer play.
Yeah, I'll agree to that. I have a question for you now.
Yeah.
Would you rather have a blue this is chrome, true blue Darian Mensah auto or a gold shimmer Darian Mensah auto?
That's a really good question. They're probably a dead split. I would take the gold shimmer.
Okay.
Yeah. The blue is the color match. Shimmers are harder to sell than non-true. I just think ultimately, like, I'll take the gold is a premium. It's the color in cards. I think that color is, again, gold prism, gold chrome. I'm gonna go with gold. Very, very close, very fair debate. Because if you pick green or you pick fuchsia or like the mini diamonds, whatever, like the argument is definitely the gold one. The blue is nice because it's the color match. So that's where it becomes like, do you want the lower numbered, less desirable parallel in the shimmer, or do you want the color match auto? And to me, I'm going to take the lower numbered parallel. Great question.
Okay. Yeah. Fair.
All
Thank you. All right.
Not so nice fun. Not so fun part of this list.
Yeah, so I've got three. I hate to kick a man while he's down, but I'll go to Carson Beck here just because of the stat, Ryan. For like that's kind of his legacy now. Like now, what is ingrained in people's brains in this whole pre-draft process? Oh, he threw a meatball to end the game, right? So it's like people weren't super high on Carson Beck to begin with, and his prices weren't like super, super strong. Where like, hey, this guy could be a top 5 quarterback in the class, whether you like it or not, whether you like him or not. But I'm like, you know what? But this is an opportunity, Ryan. This is an opportunity. Hey, are you going to be the guy to go in on Carson Beck and try to buy this at the bottom and sell it on draft night? What would make my day is if he's like one of the best quarterbacks in this class. That would just be hysterical because he's been clowned on his entire career.
Yeah. See, I have a hard time. I think you and I have a difference of opinions on stock down because Carson Beck stuff is through the roof. I mean, Carson Beck is really one of the reasons they're in this position. He's really who got them there, although he didn't win it. Like, he definitely helped put Miami back on the map. He definitely had some moments, probably exceeded expectations. I don't know if he had a career that was quite as decorated at Miami, but I mean his stuff sells. Like, he's still $40 plus auto. He's got humongous patch auto sales that are low numbered. I think a best to 5 just did almost $500. Yellow first to 75 auto 9s do $140. Sapphire, that's from a little while ago. But yeah, he's got some stuff. I don't know. I'm not I'm not a big believer that he's gonna be it at the pro. But I think the interesting thing about Carson Beck is he's had the sales, right? He's had the data that shows like his stuff can sell. So if it gets low enough, if it does indeed go on stock down and actually drop, could potentially be a play because he's shown he can get there before on some of the sales. But if they get down, yeah, I mean, quarterbacks on draft day, anybody, and you can sell anybody on draft day if it's a quarterback. Like Tyler Shuck, we were talking about him being an old rookie. Guy went 4-1. You see when his stuff sells for? Listen, if Tyler Shuck can do it, Carson Beck can definitely do it.
Yes. No, I agree. So yeah, not necessarily a stock down at the moment, but more of a stock watch to see if it goes down. Because I'm gonna be ready to pounce if people just have that last play burned in their memory and like, oh, this guy stinks, and pull the Tyler Shuck, like, everyone said he was terrible. He was undrafted or pre Senior Bowl undrafted, then goes top 40, now Rookie of the Year candidate. So I'm gonna watch out for Carson Beck if his stuff drops.
For sure.
Okay, next one. You know what? I was making some lists. I was looking at some guys. Kevin Jennings is down tremendously bad. Like, just you can get his Bowman first auto for like $10. Probably buy it now. His blues are probably about $20, and I mean he made the playoffs last year. He got I think they won 10 games this year. It's just kind of you're fighting an uphill battle being at SMU, not like a premier brand or anything. But I mean, I don't know. Like, he'll be in his third year starting next year. $10, $15 for a base first auto. I don't know. I think it's worth it.
Yeah, it's just so interesting to me on how some of this stuff works. I feel like looking at some of these sales, there's some really big gaps between like the low end and the high end in college football stuff. And I don't mean high end like Kevin Jennings 101 autos. I just mean like, you see a Kahuna auto does $50, but there's a base auto sale under $10, or there's like a Campus Visits auto to 99 that does $16. I'm like, that seems like a really big gap. And this goes back to like, I talked about earlier about like there are plays available if you find them. Like an orange sapphire auto does $76. Number to 25 orange sapphire, and then you scroll down a little bit on here, Brian, and you got a purple auto to 75, $19. Like, are they really that big of a difference? Like, that big? Like, 4x the price? I mean, I don't know. Again, I look at some of these sales. I'm like, this doesn't really make sense to me. Like, why are these gaps so, obscure? It just tells me there's plays. Like, if you have the time, if you're committed to this is why you succeed. This is why you're, the best at it. Like, you get on a DC, Sports 87 auction night, like a heavy auction night. You get on a quick consign, you get on any of these big eBay consigners, and they got a bunch of college football stuff ending. Like, you bet on I know we talk about this all the time. You bet on 200 cards, you're gonna win some. Some of them are gonna exceed expectations, and some of them are gonna go for nothing, and you're gonna get combined shipping. And there's just a lot of opportunities to to then make plays on those. And I think looking at some of these comps, some of these guys, I'm like, doesn't make any sense, but I'm willing to make a play.
Yeah. I mean, Darian Mensah entering the season, or not Darian Mensah, Kevin Jennings entering the season is probably like a top 20 to 15 quarterback next season. You're telling me I can get a purple Bowman first chrome auto for under the price of a blaster? If someone rips that out of a hobby box, it's $150.
Random question.
You get 2 autos? Yes, Ryan.
This is going to be an interesting debate.
Okay.
Bowman chrome refractor auto, Kevin Jennings.
Okay.
Or vertical RPA game used sticker auto.
Can I get a color on the patch?
Yeah, like purple or like it's a non-white patch.
Man. You gave me the refractor, which, sometimes those go low at auction. Sometimes
you'd have taken the base. I know you would have taken the patch auto. I know that if it was the base.
Yeah. So I think I'd still take the patch. I think they're like, look at some of these game used patch. They're outselling the first.
Yep, for sure. 100%. I would take the patch auto. Wouldn't even debate it. Wouldn't even debate it. It's always this is the perfect age-old example. Would you rather have an on-card auto Or would you rather have a game used patch? I'd rather have a game used patch.
Yeah. Okay. How about like what would?
I got one.
Okay.
Purple auto first to 75, or gold masterpieces insert auto from best to 50.
Oh, purple.
Really?
Yeah, I want the first. Although showpieces, that's on card, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I want the first.
I say masterpieces. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. Give me the first.
Interesting. Kahuna auto or patch auto to 50?
I'm not a Kahuna guy, so like when you tell me, like I feel like you point out some Kahuna sales, and I'm like, wow, like they're that, like I get it, they're case hit autos on card. They've been in the series since the beginning. It's like an OG staple in Bowman, but I'm just not a Kahuna guy. Give me the patch auto.
Interesting. All right, so somebody has $100 to spend right now in Kevin Jennings cards. You have $100. What are you doing with it?
I'm gonna buy some True Blue. I'm gonna try to buy one or two True Blue first chrome autos, and then the rest just base autos under $10, as many as possible.
That's no is the answer. No. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No. Pass. We're not going to do that. I don't. Why the blue? Why the blue? Like, what's up? What's your obsession with the blue today?
Because that's a color match for him. So I'll take.
He's in a black jersey.
Yeah, that's fair. I'll still take the blue.
I'm buying as many numbered autos as humanly possible.
Okay, that's fair. I respect that too.
I have to have something limited, and I would be willing to substitute refractor autos at comparable prices for game-used patch autos.
Sure, yeah.
Or base sapphire autos, which we know are SPs. I think the last sapphire auto did $26, and that's the same price as about the last blue, which did $24. That's a great one. Base SP sapphire auto or a true blue to 150.
See, I think this is way easier. Give me the sapphire.
Yeah, for sure. Sapphire is so much short printed.
Yeah, it's a premium product. It's a more expensive box. You get one auto per box, and I don't know. There's probably 40 autos of each guy, maybe.
Brian, do -25 real quick. Do -25. I want to talk about this with you. You ready for this? Scroll down, Brian.
Maybe.
Hold on. One more. 3 Kevin Jennings base sapphire autos have ever sold on Card Ladder. 3.
That's crazy.
46, 46, 55, and 26 even.
Man.
That's a pretty short printed card. There's more orange sales than there are base sapphire autos.
You know, sometimes I feel like it'd be like that, Ryan. Sometimes I feel like you see more orange than
yeah. So we last year, obviously, I've shared this with you. Like, we were really big into Lagway. Had a bunch of Lagway stuff heading into the season. I think the sapphire base auto was a pop 9 at one point. We had 6 of the 10 or 6 of the 9 PSA 10 base sapphire autos of Lagway. The orange sapphire 10 auto going into the national last year was a higher pop than the base auto was. Isn't that crazy?
Do you think that the base? No, there's no way the base sapphire is like less than the number to 25 orange, right?
There's more sales on an orange than there is a base. Interesting.
Gonna have to throw my tinfoil hat on, Ryan.
Don't do that. Don't go down that road. Yeah, I think there's like 5, 6. I mean, there's quite a few orange autos.
Wow, that's surprising.
First orange auto sale. First one was 125. Most recent one, Brian, what's the most recent one? $76.
That's hefty. I'd rather have 2 or 3 base sapphires than one orange.
That's a very interesting take. That's a very No, I'm
What?
not saying you're wrong. I'm just like, that's very interesting. That's interesting. You're probably onto something there. That's crazy. I don't know if the market's ready for that answer, but I think you
Okay.
might be
Yeah,
onto
yeah.
something there.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I am. I'm onto something. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. We have one more?
We got one more. Yes.
Oh gosh.
No, I mean, you gotta see the long play here. Dylan Raiola. So
Oh, yeah.
transfers to Oregon, and we were texting about this, and it's like, oh, like that means Dante's gone. I'm like, no, there's reports, Ryan, that say like he's okay
Yeah.
sitting the bench, which is kind of wild considering this kid's been to 10 different schools in like 6 years, and it's like, why would he go sit the bench, right? But yeah, now we're gonna sit a year at Oregon basically. Dante Moore, projected number 2 pick, perhaps Mel Kiper's number 1 prospect, and he says, no, I'm going back to school next year. Rayola's going to be on the bench. So it's like, what's interesting is I don't know if Rayola is like good enough to like hold your stuff. Like, like you're sitting on that for a full year, but it's like you could probably get some crazy stuff and just stash it away for the next year. I don't know if I want to, but I just want to point it out for the viewers.
Yeah, I think if you think about this from an opportunity-only perspective, you look at this and say, that makes a ton of sense. That makes a ton of sense. Buy a $35 Prism draft or Mosaic draft pick autos, cards you would expect during the season to do 80 to 100 easy. You look at those, you're like, makes a ton of sense. If it was anybody other than a dude that had been to every school in America, I would feel a little differently. This dude, he might transfer tomorrow. I mean, the portal I think is closed. He might hop back in there. He might leave when Dante Moore goes pro. Who knows? Right? To me, it's so inconsistent. I know you and I talked, and I've shared. I'm a big believer. Like, I was always a big believer. Dante Moore's going pro. I'm like, you just don't pass up the opportunity to be a top 3 pick. $30+ million guaranteed. I mean, there was that report he's getting $7.5 million to play at Oregon. $7.5 million is a lot of money. $30 million guaranteed is a lot more money. I understand not wanting to go to New York and be a Jet. Man, I'm surprised. I'll believe it when I see it. When Dante Moore's out there week 1, in Eugene, I'll really believe it when I see it. The deadline's what, 10 days, 7 days? It's coming up.
For what?
To declare.
No, it already passed.
I thought it was the 24th or the 26th.
For the draft?
Yeah. Because I thought they extended the time after the national championship.
Maybe for those 2 teams. But I think it was the 16th for anyone else. Anyone not in the championship. I think the 24th might be for Miami and
No, it says players in the college football playoff have an extension, often to mid to late January, like the 23rd for the 26th draft. They have 3 more days. So it'll be 2 more days when it's Friday.
And Dante could change his mind?
Yeah, players in the... No, Brian said it's championship game. Standard deadline's the 14th for most underclassmen.
Okay.
Man, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, at this point, it's probably... doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me. Man, I'm surprised. I don't know if I love this one. I don't know. I see the vision, but I'm not sure. It's Raiola.
I'm right there with you. I don't think he's like good enough to be like, hey, like I'm just gonna sit on this. But just want to point it out, like, hey, here's what I would do if I'm gonna go in on Raiola. I'm gonna buy just as many Prism draft pick, purple ice, blue ice, all that stuff that I can get for like under $5, and I would do that, I think, and just like the super cheap numbered stuff.
Yeah, I think I would look at buying like Prism Silvers or like the Ruby Wave color match or like the green retail ones. I would buy some of those like cheaper sub $2 ones, like the ones you're going to win on combined shipping for $1.99. And I'm going to PSA as many of them as I possibly can because if he does anything, I think those are $50 10s you're getting for $24. And I again, if not, they're, $10 bricks or $15 bricks, and you lose $10 and you move on. But I think the ability to grade some of the cheaper stuff and turn it into something when he's there. Or if he does stay there and does play. I mean, again, it's kind of like the Miami thing where it's like if an opportunity exists to play, there will just naturally be demand. Ohio State has this. If Mensah goes to Miami, I think the opportunity to play will create enough demand. I just think if my budget is limited, Dylan Raiola plays are really, really far down the list.
That's fair. That's fair. Someone had to be on the list, but I do have a take, Ryan, that I want to talk about or I want to share. Okay. I don't think Dylan Raiola would start next year or 2027 for the Oregon Ducks.
You don't think he'll start?
Yes. I think he'll either transfer again, they'll bring in a transfer quarterback, or he loses a quarterback battle to like Akili Smith Jr., who's been sitting there.
Yeah, that was kind of my take earlier around, like, I don't know if I love the play because I agree with you 100%. Like, I'm not sure Dylan Raiola ever takes a snap there. I think it's, knowing Dylan Raiola, we got that Nike money. We got some sick shirts and a bunch of color match jerseys. I'll get some sick photos and some cool gear and, make my way into Nike. And then next year, this raw former 5-star prospect who's taken a year off, he's been resting, he's healed up, he's matured, he's put on some weight, he's ready to start. He's going to get $10 million, $5 million, whatever some crazy number is to get back in the portal. We'll see. Maybe he ends up in Columbus. Maybe he ends up back at Ohio State where he started, where he was originally committed. Maybe he's a Buckeye. Like, You see it now, though. I mean, Sorsby got, $5 million, $3.5 million, whatever, some crazy number. Like, you see it now. College football is not as much about, like, having a bunch of 4-star guys in your team. It's about having 4th and 5th year guys who should be in the NFL. Like, Ohio State won with that, right? With all those guys who could have declared, came back. Indiana did it yesterday. Like, Indiana didn't win with – they had no 5-stars. Not one. Not one 5-star was on that team. They're just – grown men, just 22-year-old dudes handling, just going up against 18-year-old kids, 19, these 5-star freshmen, and you just got guys who've been doing it for 4 or 5 years, have that experience, have that rep. I think the more we get into college football, it's going to turn into an experience thing rather than like a pure raw talent. You're still going to need your Jeremiah Smiths, your Malachi Tonys. You're still going to need guys that are just elite physical, football players. But I think there's a lot to be said about, guys that have started in college football for 3 years.
Yeah, no, I agree. Might be the formula. And it's kind of like a Super Bowl winning team with like maybe not a quarter, like a wide receiver or running back being your highest paid or whatever. There's some stat about the running back and like all the Super Bowl winners are like under a X amount of $1 million. It's like, hey, you can't be paying the bag for all these guys. You got to get the guys who are just all together, veterans. They'll worry about the NFL and paycheck when it gets there. Could be the move.
Last question before we get into value box.
Okay.
Cignetti, Indiana's coach on day one?
Yeah.
No chance he goes to the NFL?
No. I don't. I feel like I feel like no.
I don't think you're wrong. Just more curious on.
Okay.
They were talking about like, Harbaugh got I think 5 years at $100 million. So they were talking about Cignetti getting $20 million.
That's crazy.
He's already the third highest paid coach in college football. You have to imagine now there's already going to be a statue. There's already going to be a raise. Like, he's kept all of his guys together. They're getting more money. Like, they could all get jobs. Like, he's got the perfect formula, so I'm not saying he should leave. I'm just more curious. A guy takes Indiana to a national title 16-0. That definitely raises some eyebrows in the NFL. There's a lot of job openings for people that would pay a lot of money for a coach like Kirk Cignetti to come in there and change the culture and, build a winner. I'm not saying he wants that, right? Like, he may not. But he clearly wins everywhere he goes. Last night, Monday night's a perfect example. Just curious.
Okay. I'm going to preface this. This is crazy. This is just joke shenanigans. It's I'm just gonna one up you here. What if Fernando Mendoza returns to Indiana? He
Not in a
says
million years.
Indiana
No way.
Synergy, back-to-back national champions.
No chance. Not in a million years. His brother's already in the portal. No chance. Heck no. Not happening. It's Josh Hoover and Nick Marsh and what's the guy's name? Turbo. It's Turbo time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fun to think about.
Yeah. No, it's not.
That would be a great
rematch Ohio State Indiana in Bloomington on October 17th. So hopefully we're doing cards and content live from there.
Yeah, great press conference to return. I'm just gonna dream about it.
Okay. All right, value box.
Value box. You know, Ryan, I think I've been in my bag the last few weeks with these. I've been cooking. I think this is a great one. It is Roman Hemby, now national champion. What I love about this, both of his cards, well, two things. One, both of his cards from Bowman at least, he's in his Maryland jersey. So people got to connect the dots like, hey, Maryland, Indiana, is this the same guy? And then two, his Bowman 2023 autograph, it's only in Sapphire. He wasn't in the Chrome Auto checklist, I'm pretty sure. So, like, if you find a Sapphire Auto, that's a pretty, like, that's his Bowman first autograph. That's his only Bowman first autograph is in Sapphire. And then you also have 2024, which was a second year. But I'm sure those are, probably a solid $10 auto. I think his color does fairly well. So I just think, you can make that connection. Probably going to make some money in the NFL now after his performance in the playoffs and just in the last two seasons.
Yeah, those IU running backs, man, are some dogs. They were good. He's only in Sapphire in 23. Last base auto, I think, did 35 is like a CGC 10. But yeah, his 24 stuff doesn't sell super, super crazy. He's got some on it stuff in an IU uniform that does a little bit better. And out of 50, I think just did like $50. Base auto, $40. So it's probably honestly his better of the autos at this point. But yeah, he's again, I think there's probably some opportunity here at what some of these sell for. But looking at these now, the on it stuff, man, is where some of the higher sales are. But you'd have to go back. Sapphire Black Auto at a 10 did $75, so that was a strong sale. So he's got some good sales.
Yeah, and yeah, I just feel like the Maryland, the transfer, I think you get a sneaky little play out of that. If I help one person discover a Bowman first Sapphire Auto, I've lived a good life.
You know who could be an interesting play? I just thought about this. What about is it Jacoby? Who's the kid that transferred to Ohio State from Florida?
Oh, Jacoby Jackson.
There you go. Yeah, I was like, is it Jacoby James? I'm like, what's his name? Jacoby Jackson, running back, was backing up Jaden Ball.
Yep.
In Florida. Transfers to Ohio State. You have to imagine a guy like that's coming in to be the next CJ Donaldson, a little bit older, kind of 1-2 with Bo Jackson. Obviously, I think he might split a little time with Isaiah West as well. But he, again, like you can buy his base autos for sub $10. You get to Columbus, like that's a little bit of a different attention. And I think there could be, he's got a Sapphire auto that sold 3 days ago at this point, 4 days ago from the time this episode drops, at a 25 that did sub $20. So some potential for a guy like that could be, Jacoby Jackson takes a 75-yard run, to the house in the opener. Might be a 40. It might be a quick double up on a guy that's probably not going to cost you more than $50 to get a handful of autos.
Yeah, no, it's not a bad. Now, my question to you: do you think he would be in the rotation? Because I feel like part of the CJ Donaldson move was like, hey, do we know what we got with Isaiah and Bo? Like, I feel like he was kind of the guy to start, and it was like, whoa, these two freshmen though, we got to get them more touches. And then he kind of got phased out, but now it's like, what you got with Bo Jackson, one of the top 10 running backs in the country. So he's another guy, not eligible for the draft, but he's going to be a top 6 back next year coming in this season.
Yep. Yeah, Bo Jackson's good. But I also think Ohio State showed with Travion and Quinshon Judkins that like the two-back system works. You keep reps off of the main guy. You keep him healthier longer. Ohio State did that a lot this year. I mean, Peoples got in. You were there. We were there in person for the Peoples Hurdle. Isaiah West got a good amount of minutes throughout the year. Maybe not the second half, like really down the stretch there. Those last couple games, it was pretty much Bo Jackson with Donaldson inside the 20 or on passing downs. So I would be pretty hard pressed to tell you. I would imagine Bo Jackson gets 50% of the carries, 60% of the carries, but I have a hard time believing that those other guys are not going to not touch the ball. Like Ohio State wants to keep guys healthy. They want to give guys minutes. So if somebody gets hurt, the next guy's not like a guy that's not been playing very long and has never touched a ball in a meaningful game.
Yeah, that was a very good point. You might have opened my eyes to Jacoby. I did pick up an auto as soon as that news broke, just because all right, let's see, what Ohio State, one of the best fan bases to sell to in Bowman University in college products. So I did pick that up, but not with the intention of maybe we got something here. Just because I'm a Bo Jackson guy, and I'm curious about Isaiah.
Guy's got to learn how to. He's got to learn how to pass block. So it's a big thing in this offseason, I know, here in Columbus. So I think if he can learn how to pass block, he's got it. He's got it for sure. But we'll see.
Yeah, solid.
All right. That is a wrap. I'm sure we'll be back next week to do at least one more of these. Talk a little bit more ball as the window for declaring will officially close. I think the portal for college football games should probably be closed at that point. So we'll have a little bit more to talk about. So shout out to everybody who listened on this one. See you guys next week. All right. Shout out to our guy, Braden Smith, one of the nicest athletes we've ever had the pleasure of talking to. Shout out to our guy, Gabe Card Stacks, once again for another fun Stockwatch. We got a little bit of product this week, just a little bit. Prism FOTL dropped earlier this week on Dutch Auction, the first off the line. Did on Tuesday. I would imagine that shows up later this week. We only got a couple boxes of that, but I would imagine singles and breaks and that kind of stuff starts showing up later. But that's not official release on the calendar, so we'll see when that shows up. But outside of that, Sapphire Basketball drops later this week on Topps on Thursday. That will be massive. I've seen rumblings online that it'll be $1,000+. Cooper Flag, LeBron, that product's going to do numbers. F1 Chrome. Can't wait. One of my favorite products of the year. Love ripping this with my wife. Big fan. We'll definitely rip a case of this with her and enjoy that time. It's something we do every year, so very excited for that. And then Topps Chrome UFC Stadium Club Hobby. I'm not a big UFC guy. I don't keep up with it super closely. So I would love for any of my UFC fans, is that a product they've made before? I don't remember Stadium Club. I don't think so. Doesn't stand out to me in my head, but anybody can confirm. I would appreciate it. All right, great episode. A lot of fun. Excited for what's ahead. Some cool things coming in the works. So, yeah, excited for next week, where we'll do it all over again. Shout out to those of you who made it this far. But for now, that is all I got. Peace, guys.